The Harry Potter films were huge.
The movies brought in $8 billion and sold enough tickets to make it the fifth highest-grossing franchise of all time.
And they were full of action.
Often done by stuntmen like David Holmes.
It really is the best job in the world.
Until it's not.
From that moment on, my life changed forever.
He almost died, but he didn't. And you might be amazed at his attitude now.
It's about practicing gratitude, understanding your privilege, and then giving back however you can. Because if you're not investing in the people that come behind you tomorrow, then what are we doing on this planet?
He kind of sounds like you, Mike.
Well, I take that as a great compliment.
Well, it is a compliment. You've been very resilient this past 3 years with what happened to you.
I'm Mike Sugarman.
I'm Janice Wright, Sugarman.
And this is I'm Still Rolling. This is I'm Still Rolling, and we roll into our fifth season. More than 30 podcasts, but this one's different.
Yes, you can see us.
This is the way we look. I don't know what you were thinking, but...
I don't know. You thought we were more glamorous. Maybe you thought we were younger, but this is us.
Why are we qualified to do a podcast like this? Well, let's
What do you call this kind of podcast?
It's a vodcast.
Oh, okay.
It's a video podcast.
I just love to hear you say that because it makes it sound so hip. We know what we're doing.
We do know what we're doing because we've spent a lot of time in our careers as broadcasters. You were an anchor on the all-news radio stations in San Francisco and New York.
That's right. That's right. Thank you very much. And you have a boatload of Emmys.
17.
Okay. Yeah.
Who's counting?
Well, I don't count. I'm supposed to dust them, I think. I don't know. I'm not a duster. They call out to me, though, when I walk by them, please dust us. But I have other things to do. Yes, you have a lot of awards for your radio and television work.
But the real reason that we're qualified to do this podcast about disability is that I'm a paraplegic. In 2022, February 22nd, 2022, the date is 2/22/22. You think that would be a lucky day for me?
You would, and I think we kind of thought it was going to be, but
my luck ran out. The operation on my aorta was a success, but 2 days later in the ICU, I suffered a spinal cord stroke. People in the ICU hadn't seen that before.
Well, and you couldn't feel your legs.
I couldn't feel my legs.
You knew something had happened.
It was a dreadful experience, and it continues to be. But we are trying to make the most of it, and that's why we do this podcast. Mm-hmm. We're trying to show people that there is life after disaster.
And someone who's, frankly, doing a better job than we are at this is our guest, David Holmes.
Have you seen the Harry Potter movies?
No. I have not seen one Harry Potter movie nor read one Harry Potter book, but I know you did. You read the Harry Potter books to our youngest son.
I did. We read a few books and we saw a few movies. And Harry Potter, who is in real life Daniel Radcliff, does some incredible stunts. And you see him flying through the air and crashing into things.
Don't see him.
He didn't do that.
No.
David Holmes did that. He was the main stuntman for Daniel Radcliffe, and he did a terrific job until one day
his luck ran out. He had a terrible accident on the set and became a quadriplegic.
Quadriplegic, different than me. I'm a paraplegic.
It's numbers. It's numbers. For those who don't know, and probably most of you do, but just in case, paraplegic means 2 limbs are affected.
Two. Para.
Quadriplegic
4.
Is 4. Means 4 limbs are affected. Now, that doesn't mean that they're useless. You can have some ability to move your legs. There are walking quadriplegics. And one irritating thing we found since we've been experiencing this is we've heard from some of our brethren in the disabled club that we joined.
Bad club. You don't want, it's a club you don't want to be in.
No, the dues are pretty high, and it's harder to get out of than a timeshare. Anyway, those who have some mobility have said that people, when they see them stand or walk, strangers will say to them, "Well, you must be faking it because you can stand up and you can walk." First of all, who would do that? Secondly, what a rude and ignorant thing to say.
You know, I saw there's a T-shirt. Somebody in a wheelchair. It says, "I did it for the parking."
Yeah, I've seen that one. That's a good one. That's a good. Anyway, we digress because we need to get to David because he's a wonder.
David Holmes. First of all, I want to thank you for talking to us. You have a very big platform for what you advocate, and you and I have some things in common. Right after my problem, which was a surgery gone wrong, I knew that I had to do something to help other people with a small platform I have. You have a much bigger platform, and you decided the same thing. So first, thank you for coming on our program, and thank you for your advocacy.
And David, I might add, Mike started interviewing doctors and nurses as soon as the heavy drugs started wearing off. He knew that soon that he was going to try and do something with this.
So, Mike, can I ask you, is it a spinal cord related issue that you've had to navigate?
It was a spinal cord stroke following an operation on my aorta, which was successful. But 2 or 3 days later in the ICU, there was a glitch. Blood stopped flowing to the spine, the spot that controls the legs. I'm a T4-5.
Yeah.
To people that don't know, that means it's thoracic. It was in the thoracic area, the fourth vertebrae. And I'm paralyzed from about the stomach, the breastbone down.
Yeah. So I'm a couple higher than you. I'm a C4 on the right side, which is the cervical area of the spinal cord. So the top half, and then C5 on the left, meaning that my right arm is fully paralyzed. Below my level of injury and my sensation line, which is just above my nipples and armpits, everything is immobile. But on my left arm, I retain a little bit of tricep, a little bit of bicep, but I don't have any hand finger function or dexterity like that. I just have flexion and extension and pronation on my arm and supinate. So that means flexing it, for people listening, supination and pronation is turning your arm over forwards and back. So yeah, and then the right side, unfortunately, because I had a syrinx very soon after my surgery, which wasn't picked up. My journey is I've had to lose what function I did have when I left hospital on the right hand side, and truth be told, whether I retain breathing, speech, and swallow at the same level I am now, I might be on my journey. But what that forces me to do is to be present and to make the most of every day while we have it. And today in England, it's very warm and I'm in less pain. So I'm very grateful.
Very warm here in New York as well.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I spoke to Daniel yesterday. He said it's hot in New York.
It's hot.
Let's start. A lot of people know exactly what happened to you, but a lot of people don't. Tell us what happened.
So I was a teenage gymnast, a British gymnast that competed, and then I had the unique opportunity to be a teenage stunt double on the 1997 movie Lost in Space.
Somewhere on the other side of the universe, billions of miles from Earth.
A few years later, I'd done another day's work on a film called Bedazzled with Brendan Fraser and Elizabeth Hurley.
What if I told you that I have the power to give you anything and everything you've always dreamed of?
Who are you?
Directed by Harold Ramis, who done he was Egon in the Ghostbusters movie, iconic New York movie. Anyway, on that day's work, I met the same stunt coordinator again, and he said, "Can I have your telephone number? In a couple of years' time, I might be doing. Sorry, in a couple of months' time, I'm starting this kid film. It's called Harry Potter something and something." I went back to school, went back to my gymnastics training, got a phone call a couple of months later, and lo and behold, I was called in to be the first ever broomstick test. And then I secured my job in front of Chris Columbus, the legendary director, directed and wrote The Goonies and Gremlins and stuff like that. Home Alone, another New York classic. I was strapped to a broomstick, driven on a truck down the runway at the studios where they filmed Harry Potter. On that day, I secured my role as lead stunt double for Daniel Radcliffe on the Harry Potter films. So I got to do 8 of the best years of my life working on that amazing film franchise. And then in 2009, unfortunately, I was called in. We started stunt rehearsals on Harry Potter 7 Part 1. And as the films progressed, the severity of the stunt action, obviously, and the spell reactions got more, intense. So we were doing stunt rehearsals. We wanted to increase the severity of taking off the floor and flying into a wall. I was practicing Harry fighting the snake. Through no fault of my own, a couple of things went drastically wrong, and I flew into a wall of crash mats, unbelievable velocity. My chest folded into my nose, and my C6, C7 vertebrae separated in a full dislocation, and I landed instantly winded, paralyzed, and from that moment on, my life changed forever.
Did you know right away that you were paralyzed?
Right away. I've broken enough bones as a stuntman to know what it feels like to break a bone, and straight away. My first recovery thing to do was recover the breath because I was severely winded, where I folded up the diaphragm and crushed the lungs. So I recovered the breath, and then the nerve pain across the whole body and not being able to move. I instantly knew and told my best friend, stunt coordinator, I'd broken my neck. So then it was a slow ambulance ride to the hospital, and then a fixation surgery, and then 6 months in intensive rehab to try and get as much as a recovery as I physically can get. So yeah, very unique.
That's a long time.
Yeah, it's high level spinal injury. It's, as you know, navigating living with a spinal cord injury. It's not just the not walking bit. People ask me, "Do you want to, not walk again?" It's like I'll take a list of 10 other things before that. Like it's blood pressure regulation, it's bladder and bowel function, it's sexual function, it's being able to control my core temperature. It's like a million other things over walking I would take.
I hear you, brother.
We hear that over and over again from
Me.
from people we interview, and I hear it from him too.
Yeah. So it's a journey, isn't it? But it's a very unique journey, and it's up to us as individuals and anyone who faces a life-changing tragedy. It's a lesson of loss. It's grief. It's then trying to work out: are you going to let that moment define who you are, or are you going to move on and try and make the best of what you've got? And it's not a rehearsal. This life, we only get one go, isn't it? And I know what can go wrong on a rehearsal. So I try and make the best of what I've got.
Well, you have made the best of it with your book, The Boy Who
Thank
Lived,
you very much.
and then the documentary. The title is, of course, wonderful because, as you say, you make the best of what you have, and you did live.
I did live, exactly. Could easily died on that moment, and I was very fortunate to be able to ask Joe to give me permission for the title, because the giant corporation I was working for obviously own it, and didn't want to give it up. But the big G, the Joe Rowling, she was kind enough to give me the title. So it's for the documentary and the book, and it is the right title. It works so well, So the what's happened in my life post injury up to the documentary, it's like, there was relearning to just find out who it is to be me again. And the truth be told, it took a decade, you know. And then I chose to tell my story through the documentary, and now I have a platform to tell and change perspective, and that's a big responsibility that I don't take lightly.
I wake up every day just glad I'm waking up.
Yeah,
I'm a boy who lived, and I understand completely what you're talking about.
yeah.
But the documentary was produced and was a big part of Daniel Radcliffe career and life. Talk about your relationship with him. He's a big star.
He's one of my best friends. When this Zoom call goes down, we've got a scheduled FaceTime together for a catch up. So I speak to him on a regular. You know, what do you buy? The man can buy everything himself. I make him playlists and send him like that across on iTunes. So I just sent him one because he's got a birthday forthcoming soon. So yeah, he's one of my best friends, and for years I was brave for him, performing stunts for him on the Harry Potter franchise. And then just at the beginning of HP7, my accident happened. And he had the weight of the world with finishing the franchise off without his best friend and big brother like figure around to train him every day and to be, you know, just there as part of his support network. So he had to come and see me in hospital with a feeding tube down my nose, with a neck brace, with my life changed forever. And in that moment, he was very, very brave for me. So I honestly, you guys got to watch that young man grow up on camera as a kid. I get to watch him grow as a man, and I could not be more proud of him. He's an amazing human being, and I'm very grateful to have him in my life.
What about the other people in your life? Who has
How
has that been for them?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was life changing for everyone. I always say it was the moment that forced me to grow up, but it also forced everyone around me to grow up.
Because you were 24, 25?
24, and then I'd had my 25th birthday paralyzed. So I'm 16 years in now. So very soon I'll be more in a chair than I was on my legs. But yeah, it was life changing for everyone. My family, the best friends that I've got, like, you know, at the time, my relationship with my ex-partner, it was one of those things that just, it was like a giant earthquake. But that is life, isn't it? Things just come at you, and you have like no, you know, we all build up this sort of weird sense that we're in control, and then something like that happens, and then you realize, well, you're not. You're just very frail, very fallible, and things can go wrong, and they will go wrong. And I began this episode with that, like, life is a lesson of loss, right? You know, you're given a gift of life, and then you lose things. You lose the parents you love, you lose your physical abilities, you lose friends, and that's the deal we get. I had that lesson the hardest way at 25 years old. And you go through all of the stages of grief that are well documented. And living with my injury, with it ever changing, I still go through those stages when I lose a muscle group on one side. But truth is, recovery from something like this is every single day. It's every day. But I tell anyone listening in, you know, pain is inevitable in life, whether you like it or not. But you can choose to suffer or not. You know, I do believe that. Yeah.
Well, there are people who are born to die, and then there are people who are born to live.
Yeah.
And you are obviously one of those people who are born to live, because you will die someday, but you're going to enjoy every day
Absolutely.
till then, as
Yeah.
opposed to some other people. But I can ask you about being a stuntman.
Yeah.
How did
Best.
that happen?
Best job in the world. So listen, if it come back to work miraculously tomorrow, I would go back to work again. It really is the best job in the world. I was a British gymnast, and my gymnastics coach was a stuntman himself. And then that phone call come into my gymnastics coach looking for kids to work on that movie 1997, Lost in Space. So I got to spend a summer in a film studio hanging out with movie stars like Matt LeBlanc and Gary Oldman. And it was a very formative experience for a young man. And that was it. I knew what I wanted to do when I grew up, So,
Matt
yeah.
LeBlanc was in Lost in Space. I didn't know that.
It's working!
What is?
If we can't go around the sun, then we go straight through it using your hyperdrive.
Yeah. Do you know what? Funny man, lovely man, really, really fun. And I was 13, all confidence, as you can tell. But he was just fun. He played around and we played PlayStation together between, shots. And he was just a nice human being. And yeah, at the time, he was the most famous star in the world because obviously Friends.
Hey, how you doing?
It was a life-changing summer, and I look back on it very, very fondly, very grateful.
Well, and you said you got to be what you wanted to be when you grew up. Few people get that. Did you ever have any second thoughts or regret about what you chose?
No, even after my injury, never, ever. You can't live with regrets. With what live with regrets means you're sitting in the past. And, the great George Harrison said, or time is an enigma because the past is gone and the future's not here yet. But what is here is today. So what's real is today. The time that you're experiencing is now. And the very famous philosopher Eckhart Tolle has got a great book, The Power of Now. And it is just reminding you that what you have control of is today. That is it. Everything else is up to the ether. It's up to whatever religion you belong to, whatever faith you believe in, whatever lifestyle you subscribe to. Obviously there are factoring effects like your diet and lifestyle and all of those things that can affect your tomorrow. But that's why you got to remember, like, today, and you consider the future by being in today. But regrets and holding on to that and the past, that only goes one way,
I read The Power of Now,
Yeah.
and I just started actually yesterday reading Marcus Aurelius.
Ah,
who,
amazing. What, the diary?
Meditation.
Meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
But
Yeah.
I bring it up because he has the same thing.
Yeah.
The past is gone, tomorrow's not here.
Yeah.
You've got to live in the moment. And there's nothing more important to people like us than that, because that's all we have.
Sometimes I've also thought you said you wouldn't change anything. You had wonderful years. We had wonderful years, wonderful careers, family. And I say to myself, regrets, that means I'm being ungrateful. I mean, it's like, what did I think? All that stuff was free. It's like, it's being ungrateful for what you had.
Yeah.
If you were lucky enough that the three of us were to have wonderful lives before this.
Yeah, gratitude is the best attitude. I've just a friend of mine's little boy passed away last year, navigated his whole life with real severe disability. All of the brave human beings I've interacted with, he's the bravest by far. 9 years old, non-verbal, 30 fits a day, spina bifida, like you name it. Alfie navigated it. But he used to come over. He could talk on his head computer, and they programmed in Dave's house, like little Dave's house. He used to tap and want to come over to mine because I've got a therapy ball, or just he wanted to come and see me. But whenever I'm having a tough one, I'm like, don't mind. You know what I mean? Like, don't mind. Like you be grateful every moment you can. Like this week, what am I grateful for? There is an amazing flower that's popped up in my garden, like a blinding flower. That's the smallest bit of gratitude. The next bit of gratitude is I've just spent a week with my girlfriend. And my girlfriend is a C4 quadriplegic. And the two of us, don't just relate on our injuries, we relate on our lives, like the way we see life and the way we see, what happened. Now, she had her injury in the same year as me, but she's a little bit younger. Unfortunately, she was a passenger in the car. It rolled on, skidded on some ice, rolled, and she never got out of it. The way we connect as human beings, like it transcends everything that the doctors say that you should be able to achieve. You know what I mean? Whether that is in moments of intimacy or just moments of like clarity and breath. Like it takes a team of people to get us to have a kiss together. To hoist us in bed and roll in and roll. But do you know what? It makes that kiss more important because we have to work for it. So yeah, I'm very grateful the week I just had with the woman that I love. I'm very, very happy.
Well, you certainly are in the moment.
Go
Okay. Well, you were tapping on this.
No, I go ahead. Well, on that note, we have found, I can only describe it, I guess, as a richness. Sometimes we felt like we were on a honeymoon because things change so much.
Yeah.
That thing, and it was new. And as long as you let go of the past, then you can enjoy the newness of what is.
Yeah. Now, I recently told a story on a podcast in Australia that was picked up by the British press because of my association with Harry Potter, and it was sensationalized because it talked about intimacy between the two of us as disabled people, and a funny situation that we found ourselves in where I was stuck on her and phones fell down a couch and we couldn't call our care assistants, and I was literally just stuck for a while. You know what I mean? And it was funny. We fell apart laughing about it. And the reason why I chose that story is because I know that there's going to be 25-year-old me in hospital looking for any sort of hope or post-injury. Hope that they're going to have a great life. Hope that they're going to find a human connection. Hope that they're going to find sexual happiness. Hope, so I told that story that way. And of course, news just picked it up. Tragic Harry Potter star says he's having the best sex of his life. Sensationalized. I'm like, that's just not the way to celebrate Disability Pride Month, really, is it? Like, it's just it's such irresponsible journalism. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm telling that for a reason, because there is people that are newly injured that really feel like their life is lost and really feel like all hope is gone and really feel like they're never going to find the things that I've been able to achieve in my life. Traveled the world, I've built houses, I've made films, I've written books, like I've done a lot, and that's all post-injury. And that is probably because I'm testament to the saying, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. And even though I'm the size of a Yorkshire Terrier, I bite. Yeah, so I'm all right.
Were you, you're certainly, what's the word? Well, you're in the moment now.
Yeah.
But were you like that before? Because I wasn't. I don't think I appreciated my life.
As a stunt performer, you are forced to be in the moment at those times of pressure. As a competitive gymnast, you are forced to be in the moment at times of competition. As a performer in general, so you're forced to be in the moment because you can't do your job. So I was able to have glimpses of what the moment is, but now I find the moment is every second of every day, unless I neglect my coping strategies and my mindset. And I have very, very strict coping strategies. I am ruthlessly strict on my diet, so I do not worry if I'm going to have a bowel accident. So that is not an anxiety that I have to live with. I do 2 steam rooms a day and raise my core temperature past 37.5 degrees. So it means, one, it loosens me up and makes a huge difference to my neck. But whilst in the steam room, I really work on breath work. So I do Brock's breathing because, as we both know, chest infections is the way most spinal injuries go down. By raising my core temperature past 37.5, it's you put yourself in the state that you get in when you're in fever. So when you have a fever and your core temperature goes up because you're fighting a virus, I do that to myself twice a day. And while I'm in there, I do breath work. I make it very uncomfortable and it loosens the pain that I'm in, and it's my space. If I need to cry, that's where I cry. If I need to tune into music, that's where I tune into music. But my coping strategies are a ritual that I know as soon as I falter on them, that it makes a huge difference to my quality of day. So yeah, it's just how I manage, you know what I mean? And there's no right or wrong way of doing anything or coping with anything post injury. It's just what you find.
Again, I would think that's a good lesson for everyone.
Mm,
As you go through life, as you age, you have to keep it up. We have to physically,
yeah,
and so many people sadly don't. But
yeah,
you do have to discipline yourself.
yeah, big time. Yeah. And listen, in there, I'm not, you can't raise, well, my level of injury, my heart rate doesn't go up if I'm doing any sort of physical exercise. But when I raise my core temperature, it goes up. My blood pressure doesn't go up. It's very, very low. When I raise my core temperature, it goes up. So doing that, I mean, I've never had COVID and never had a chest infection, and I've been around it loads. Yeah.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Now people don't realize they hear paralyzed and they figure, well, if can't feel anything, nothing hurts. But I've had a constant backache since this happened to me, and it's debilitating sometimes. What hurts for you?
I mean, the listeners can't see it, but can you see that I'm rubbing the edge of my collarbone to my sternum now?
Yes,
Right, yeah.
As I'm going through muscular atrophy on this side, as the nerve endings are dying, which they do as you age, because they're dying in the area that I had the syrinx, I'm losing the function. So I'm going through muscular atrophy, which means it's the way my body reacts to it is the muscles first start feeling wet, and then they start twitching, and then they go into what would be like a cramp, and then they go to excruciating pain, and then they say goodbye. So right now I am triggering my sternum, which is the end of the muscular strand that runs between my top rib and my collarbone. And by rotating my hand, I am loosening off that muscle that's attached to the sternum and the collarbone there, just to help with the pain. That's just one level of pain for me. Now, if I think about my body below my injury, not even considering that arm, first it feels like that you're wrapped in linen really tightly, buried in sand, and then with a car battery plugged into your feet, an electric current run through you at a higher velocity. So if I think of the zones around, below my level of injury, like my feet, it makes my feet burn, or my knees, it makes my knee burns. Very much like phantom pains that people who are amputees experience. And then it's like the general pain management for me, I take nothing. I'm like, when it comes to most people's spinal cord injuries, I have no opiates, I have paracetamol, I have to be in agony for me to have a Nurofen or a Tylenol. And because I know that if I take any pain meds, it puts me on the toilet seat for longer. And I want to live. So I'd rather feel the pain before I can't feel the arm anymore. You know what I mean?
Are you in constant pain?
Constant pain, chronic pain is part of my life. But you tune into it, it takes over. But you just listen to what you need. You know what I mean? But there are moments of absolute still where the pain is a little bit less. So twice a week, I have physiotherapy, and my physio I've got a therapy board in my house, we'll stretch and manipulate my joints and muscles. We'll move this collarbone and my sternum a little bit to loosen up the joints. And then I actually sit on the bottom of the swimming pool on a scuba bottle. He stands on my shorts, holds my arms up, and I do max breath holds. And even though I only breathe with my diaphragm, I can hold my breath for 4 minutes and 25 seconds, which is not too bad.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's about how strong your head is. You know, it's like, well, that when your head says, I'm not breathing, I'm not breathing, I'm not breathing, I say to it, I got you. You know, like, don't worry, I got you. I know when to call it, you know. And then I do speech practicing, or I do like visual memory management, like going strawberry picking. You know, get out of the car, get in your wheelchair, go down, pick the strawberry, bite the strawberry, eat the like, look at it, look at the seeds, put it in your basket. Minute's gone because you're not thinking about it. You know,
Yeah.
all of that helps with giving me a sense of control, even though ultimately I know there is none. It gives you that, again, part of my coping strategy.
Well, Mike, you have said so many times when you've gotten involved in something, you forgot about the pain.
Yeah. If I'm
Right.
doing something that I enjoy or
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah.
really involved with, the
Yeah,
pain's, I guess, there, but I don't think about it.
yeah,
It's the moments, I can be enjoying a movie or a baseball game and get into it, and then just if something gets dull, and I think more about the pain, and it's debilitating. It just hurts too
yeah,
much to be there. But then
yeah,
I got to, if I'm like right now, I love talking to you. This is a great thing, and I don't feel it much.
yeah. Pain is in the brain. You
Mm.
know, they've done enough research, it's in the brain. So, if anything tells us about neuroscience, is you have the opportunity to change your spinal neuropsis and like the way you think and the way you can feel easily. With you just got to put the work in. What is it? Bruce Springsteen says, after a while, everything becomes normal. You know what I mean? Like, and that's the truth. Like, my chronic pain, after a while, it just becomes a baseline. You know what I mean?
Well, I wish my pain would go away. I mean,
Yeah,
one of
you
those
can.
things that I would give up before walking.
Yeah. Or my advice to you, Mike, is just make friends with it.
I
Make
try
friends
that.
with
I tried
it.
to
Just
do that.
make friends with it.
Yeah.
Like, when it gets too much, then obviously you have to check out and have a break, whether that is through pain medication or just through rest. But, make friends with it, as in, like, when you get a good day, you're a good friend to me today. When you get a bad time, you're a bad day, you're a bad friend to me today. But all friendships and all relationships in life take work. And yours is just, about like managing that. I mean, you live in America where everything is profit driven healthcare. And, of course, they would probably try and send you down the line of opiates, oxycodone, and all of those things. But you know the dangers of those things. You know the reliance that come with it, and I've experienced that myself in hospital, where I woke up and said, I can't get through today without help." And that was the moment I said to myself, "Right, you cold turkey now, or you're forever going to be chained to something." Um, and yeah, hard, but it's what in life isn't hard. You know what I mean? Hardships are a guarantee, an absolute guarantee.
Well, it sounds like you had to do a lot of research on your own to find the things that work for you.
Every single day. And you get a spinal cord injury, you can either let it define you and be a victim of it, or you can embrace it and be a victor. Mike, you are being a victor by doing what you do with this podcast. I am being a victor by doing what I do, the many things that I try and help out with. Because if not, I sit at home feeling sorry for myself. You know, I've
Tell us about
speaking.
some of the things you do out in the community.
Last year, I was published essay writer in the New York Times. I'm writing a children's book about a teenage stunt performer right now.
Oh.
I'm an ambassador for 4 different charities. and do loads of fundraising. I've got a public speaking career. I just done one yesterday for Audible. I'm still a performer and still acting now and again. So I do little auditions here and there. I recently got quite a big project that I'm sworn to secrecy on. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Then I run 3 businesses. I built houses for people that live with disabilities in my local area, and I rent them out for people that, I've got the house next to my mum and dad with a girl that went to the same school as young Alfie, and the family love it, So I developed buildings in the UK, so I know that they can be inclusive and adapted, because if you're not creating, then you're just taking. So I try to create in any way I can.
Well, that's a good note to end on.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I'm. It's just great to talk to you and share our stories and tell you how, people tell me that I'm inspiring. We're both inspiring. You have inspired me, my friend.
Thank you.
Really have. You really have.
Yeah.
David Holmes is my new hero. He says everything that I believe, and I don't want to say I want to be him, but I want to be in the now. I want to help others who are young people that think there's no future, that they can have sex again, maybe not walk, but they can laugh. They can go to a football, baseball game, maybe a cricket game in England. David embraces all of that.
He was like going to the mountain and talking to a guru. And he had a message for you, but that message applies to all of us able-bodied people as well. It's the same thing. It's live in the moment and appreciate what you have. And one thing that I found interesting was, when you live in the moment, it doesn't mean you go, oh, la-di-da, and just, okay, I'm just going to see what happens today. No, he works hard to stay in shape, to make himself as good as he can possibly be. So living in the moment can take a lot of work and preparation. But he did, and stuff is going to happen. Life is loss, as he said. So his message is universal for inter-able couple, such as we are. That's the current terminology.
We haven't been stuck together during sex.
No. But just, our boys probably aren't listening. But we have found some new and exciting things.
Intimacy.
Intimacy, yeah. So we love him, David. And just a shout out to Daniel Radcliff.
Yeah.
He was, we figured,
20
years old when this happened to David. And he said he showed up in the hospital room shortly thereafter. Here was a young man who could have run away from all of this.
Yeah.
I mean, he could have just said, "Oof, I can't deal with it." But he has not only dealt with it, but stuck with him as a good friend all these years. So, shout out to him.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching, and we hope you enjoyed it. I'm Mike Sugarman.
I'm Janice Wright Sugarman.
And this has been I'm Still Rolling.